Hello everyone, welcome to Sakluma Podcast. It's Nico here, and I'm back again on the studio. It's really good to be here because it's been a wonderful time. I mean, the past 2 months I've been busy, and especially last month was a refugee week, which means there's been a few events I've been involved, and it was really good to see all the communities getting together and working together. It's always about raising awareness when it comes to refugees and asylum seekers, and especially this podcast is mainly focusing on these issues and many more as well. But I've been involved in some few specific one project. I was involved a bit during the refugee week. It's called Ubuntu. So yes, Ubuntu is a project I'm trying to work with. For me personally, I'll go to the schools and talk about refugees and asylum seekers, just trying to educate kids. Not what is the difference and what is just a basic information instead of them learning from the internet and stuff like that. So there's more to that. But so during the refugee week, we just put people together just to celebrate what we have done and what people are doing, and people, yeah, just do some activities. So that's good. And the other good news, I think we all know that we need to celebrate the victory that the government has lost the case of Rwanda. I'm laughing because I was waiting for that as well. It's really exciting. It's one of those good news. It's really good to hear that no one's going to be sent to Rwanda for a while. I mean, for now, but we don't know because they want to appeal, which means I don't think they will actually win. There's no way. And the Tories, they're fighting each other anyway, so now there's a lot of conflict in both politicians. So let's cross fingers that everything's going to be fine. So yeah, for me, I think the problem is I'm still behind with the episode a bit. I'm not blaming what's going on, what I'm doing, but in the moment, I'm working with the Mental Health Foundation for their episode. But most of the people took holidays because I'm not blaming that because the weather is wonderful as well, and it's that time of the year people take a break. We've been working so hard, so we'll be back during this month to finish the next two episodes about mental health. I know, I talk a lot about mental health myself. Especially now, I'm trying to get to our communities and talk about it because it's a bit not bad, not taboo. People in Europe, Africans and all, yeah, in Europe now they understand what's it like to talk about mental health. But before back home, I didn't know. I thought you have to take your clothes and start running on the street, and then yeah, that guy, he has a mental health issues. It's not that. I don't think actually we should be careful as well using a language, mental health issues. It's not issues. It's just people dealing with it different ways. So yeah, that's another project I'm working on right now, as I say. But today I just came here to express myself, how I'm feeling and everything that's going on in this world for the past 2 months. Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't say 100% healthy person, but I had my flaws, you know what I mean? Sometimes you overdo things, sometimes you do nothing, or sometimes you just, yeah, feeling low and stuff like that. What else? So yeah, I'm always keep trying. I think that's what I can say to people. Keep trying. I want to be honest with you. We're living in a place like in the world since lockdown, personally since the COVID. There's so much changes I've seen on me and other people as well. When you look around, we tend to drink too much. Let's be honest, and that is a fact and should be addressed. People drink a lot and take some stuff as well, which means I see that. We can disagree and people say like whatever, but I can tell it's getting out of control. People, I don't know if is that because pandemic. There's something we need to look at it. What the damage this pandemic did the past 2 years, 3 years. People couldn't do things, but now we tend to overdo them. Even we don't have money, we don't have income, and we get there. I think in my own side, that's what I noticed. That I need to, yeah, calm down myself a bit. As well, look back. I don't know. It's really challenging when you look outside. People are getting really, yeah, depressed, and I don't know how to put it because I'm not a specialist, but I just think there's something is not right out there, and even indoors. I can talk about some people get murdered. I've got a friend here in Glasgow was murdered, and because of, I don't know. I know. I mean, I'm not blaming anything because I don't know nothing much about it. But all I know that the fact the person was killed, and that's it. And I don't know that all the details, but personally, I think maybe there's some, there's some connection somehow, whatever it is. But that's not only the behavior I see on the street. It's like alcohol and drugs. They actually taking over people's lives in the moment. I'm not talking about the death of the person. I'm just talking in general. This is what I see. So how do we actually tackle that? Is to talk about it. You know, people like, oh, you can enjoy yourself. Everybody, I think, is in debt right now. If you're allowed, but if you're a refugee, asylum seeker, you're not allowed to take any credits or any overdraft, which is thank God for that for those people. But again, people still struggling, stuffing. There's no food. There's nothing. Imagine, I don't know, Vivers, if we're asylum seekers and refugees were allowed to have credit cards and take loans, and do you think that's a good thing or not? Personally, I think, well, it depends on the individual. If you can afford to pay them back, that's fine. But if you don't have a job, you don't have any income, it's a very bad trap that, you end up having debt that you can't be paying and you can't sleep, you see. But I think the point I was coming here to make today was about me, how I was coping the past 2 months since I never been on the podcast, and waiting to do the 2 episode for the project I'm working on. Yeah, I'll repeat again, my health is fine. What I mean by that, I mean like, yeah, uh, what I meant to say, actually I came here to talk about alcohol. Yeah, alcohol and drugs. I think that's what I need to get to the point instead of let's get to the point, and I think that's the topic I came here with, that I can see that people in my community, they're actually struggling with that because we don't talk about these things. We think it's normal. And once you're drunk, life is different. You're a different person. But the next day, the anxiety and all the depression exploded in your head. You become like very ill and stuff like that. You don't think much. And everything is just wrong. So the reason why I put this episode, children, I just want people to come back. I'm going to make a special day for people who think this is something that we need to discuss. Then I make a phone line for you, so we can all have actually a chat, because I'm not an expert as well. I'm just here to share what I see and a little bit of my experience as well. So yeah, drinking is good sometimes when you go to a good company and stuff like that. But I always pass that point where like, now I want to go dancing. Then after dancing, what? Maybe house party. After house party, what? Maybe casino. After casino, what? You keep on moving to these horrible places, these negative people around you. And I also like when you got alcohol, and the mood changes, you also switch to other things. And look at some, as I said earlier on, mental health created some most of cases. Mental health start from taking these bad stuff like over drinking and overthinking and all that. So that, I think, that's what I see in the, like now, since after lockdown and all that stuff. But my question is, how do we sit down and actually talk about it in the way that we can actually help each other cut down? Let's try find another activities, maybe. Yeah, another different gatherings where there's no much alcohol. I'm not saying people don't drink alcohol, they don't have bad habits. They do. You do. They're over shopping, some they're overeating, some of them. So every human being has a bad habit. But is that part, how do we control it? Who do you talk to? You know? But yeah, I'm a little bit sad because I've seen really, really things goes wrong to people, like disrespecting each other because they're drunk, and some bullies, some people bullying other people because I'm better than you, you're a refugee, you're this. There's so many stuff. Then again, please don't get me wrong, there's some other very fantastic events you go, like you really meet good people and people talk about good things. Like during the refugee week, for example, there's lots of good events where you can go eat food from different countries, meet friends. I like that. But I still point out that there's an issue in communities nowadays that needs to be addressed. Because if we wait for the government to do that for you, forget about it, because they are the one who create all these problems like alcohol, drugs. The government is responsible because actually they could stop everything they wanted to, but because they're making money on it, they will not stop alcohol. They'll put the price up and people still buy it because you're already on it. So I don't know if it made sense. That part I think I should move on. So now I'm gonna move on to the what happened this year. That there's some very sad news this year, especially like that boat was sinking Greece. I think they said 700 people died. I'm not sure. I have to check that. That is upsetting. Then you hear the media talking about these 5 people died on the submarine, paid like almost £250,000. I was like, yeah. And they talk about it every day, but they don't talk about the one refugees died, 700 people. If it's, yeah, that's what I heard. I have to check that one again. I was so shocked. I'm still very upset to hear that people, they're more focusing on the richest people. It's death than 700 poor people. And that's shocking. I mean, like, why the BBC going on about this submarine for weeks and weeks, but they don't even talk about refugees who died? Is that because they're not people? That it does tell you that the world is divided. If you have nothing, you're nothing. Your life doesn't worth. They just watch you on the ocean and that's you done. But if you're rich, you go down to the water by yourself voluntarily, it is a big problem. You get more support, you know. Well, yeah, that's for me. That's the most sad news I've never heard in my life, like from media, like from the media. I mean to say, basically, there's no sympathy for refugees died. They don't care, but only for those rich people, 5 people, who voluntarily went to the deep sea. And unfortunately, life is a life. Every life lost is not nice, and I mean, but unfortunately, I don't know what to say, because it would be nice if the media spent time as well focusing on those refugees who died and looking at the solutions, how to stop this. That's another thing. So these are things like in the podcast, I'm trying to get people to come and talk about, to break these topics in pieces, get together and talk about it. So I'm going to find a way to do that after I finish the project I'm working on. So far, I think, as I said in the beginning, I'm so happy that the Rwandan scheme court, the government lost the case. And that is a really blessing news for this month. And let's hope they'll lose again appeal. And then, surely, how do you do this? How do you send people to Rwanda while they're already here? And secondly, some of the refugees they're talking about, they're not from Rwanda. You know what I mean? I understand when they said people, yeah, all the people who in Rwanda, because that's the government evil idea. I think it's in Rwanda side, it's a money making, you know what I mean? But I was really worried. I'm still worried that, I don't know, I've never been in Rwanda myself, but I can imagine Rwanda had a very sad history of genocide. And I don't know how the Rwandan people can be trusted not to do it again, especially when there's lots of, if the migration issues start, or refugees start being more crowded. And yeah, so we need to be aware of that. But I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I think it's wrong anyway to send people to Rwanda when they're here. This is a safe place and they're here, so sort them out. So yeah, in the other hand, I'm happy that the government lost. That's what I'm trying to say. And now, yes, I'm going to just maybe close by saying that keep listening to the podcast, because I tried to record something for during the refugee week with a friend, but unfortunately, because we were doing a call through WhatsApp to here to the studio, I did not connect very well, so the sound was not right. So unfortunately, we have to rearrange that, and that was going to be the most fantastic episode. But yeah, so that what happened. So I think that's me for today. And thank you so much for listening to Tiakuma's We Talk podcast. And that was just an update, by the way. We are going to be back for Mental Health Foundation podcast, which means I've got 2 or 3 episodes left to do. As I said, some of the colleagues they're on holidays. So, yeah, people are allowed to take holidays, even the podcast as well. So, but yeah, thank you.